Hello again to my lovely students. I'm going to give you a walkthrough of how we would have got through our sample exercises on inequalities that you all should have got back to me by Monday, which for those of you who did, well done. For the rest of you, at least you have this now to show you how to do it. The first question is n is an integer and is there you go. The inequality that we see there is -3 is less than n, which is less than 4. So all the possible values for that would be -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't include -3 or 4 because it doesn't have the or equal to sign. The next one is saying draw the inequality x is less than 3 on the number line below. So I want to be at 3. Because it's not less than or equal to, it's just less than, it's just an open circle. And then we draw our arrow all the way down. Next one is solving an inequality. Now that's a lot like the algebra that we did in the last unit just before Easter. So for this, I've got 4x minus 7 is greater than or equal to 13. Now if we just to solve this like a normal equation, the first thing we would do is add 7 to both sides. And I would have 4x is greater than 20. Greater than or equal to, sorry. And then I just divide by 4. So I've got x is greater than or equal to 5. That should be your final answer. You can obviously put that over there, but that would be your final answer. If we go on to the next page now, x is greater than -2. So again, we put a circle, the number that we're given. Draw the line all the way up. Y is an integer. -5 is less than y, which is less than or equal to. That should be a 0. I don't know why it's printed out strangely. But that means all of our possible values would be -4, -3, -2, -1, and 0. Because it is also equal to 0. Now again, I need to solve an inequality just like solving an equation. Our first step would be expanding those brackets. So I would then have 6x minus 12 is greater than 15. Now we can solve this like a normal equation. We add 12, we get 6x is greater than 27, and then we divide by 6. We've got x is greater than, what is 27 divided by 6? Oh, 4.5. Okay, so that is again just solving like a normal equation. I'm going to go through some of the rest of these a bit quicker. So for the next two questions, I've just given you the answers because they're a lot like what we've done before. That's the answers for question 5. It should be -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Remember to include 3 because it says less than or equal to, but not include the -2. I've solved this equation. I've left it as a fraction. You could also put that into the calculator, but it's a long reoccurring number. So I didn't think, I thought it would be best to leave it as a fraction. For question 6, now we've done it the other way around when we've drawn the arrow, but now this time we need to say what inequality is being represented. Well, I know it's going to involve the -4 because that's where the dot starts. So I'll write down -4. I know x is bigger than it. So I have to have a x is greater than -4. And because the circle isn't filled in, it's just greater than, not greater than or equal to. If you just give me a second, I'm going to solve the rest of them. So again, I've come back and just solved those two. I've not put the in-between steps because by now we should be able to solve an equation. So y is greater than, is less than or equal to 3, and y is greater than 0.5. If we look at the other side of part B of that question, we're again drawing from the number line. If we look from the number line, I know I'm going to have a number at the beginning and a number at the end and x in the middle because there are 2 dots on this arrow. So I know I need to go between -3, x, and 4. It's just about working out what signs will be in there. Well, as x needs to be in between, it's going to be greater than that -3 and, 4 is going to be greater than that x. But because this 4 has got the filled in dot, that means it's and equal to, whereas the minus 3 doesn't. So that would be our final inequality. Again, I'm going to pause it just so I can do the answers and show you them. So again, we're just plotting out the values. So minus 1 is less than or equal to n, which is less than 4. Those will be the integers that can satisfy that inequality. If I turn over the page, I just remembered that this question and the last question are the same. So if we look at this, again, it's between minus 4 and 3. So I've got minus 4 and 3 as the integers. And it's that x is going to be greater than that minus 4 and less than or equal to that 3. If I solve this inequality here, I will get y is greater than 7 over 3. Again, we need to skip through all of that because it's the same as the last question, my bad. And then the last question here, which is again representing it on the number line. If I just look here, I'm trying to represent minus 2 is less than n, which is less than or equal to 3. So I need to use those integers on this number line. I've got minus 2. I've got 3. 3 is less than or equal to, so I'm going to fill in that circle. Minus 2 isn't, and then I will just connect it with the line. So that represents that inequality there. And then the last two questions are solving. They're a bit harder, so I'm actually going to talk through them step by step. So it is just like solving an equation with an equal sign, but we've got an inequality sign instead. So for this first one, I'm going to take away 6x from both sides, and that will give me 2x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 4. Then I'm going to add 3 to both sides, and it's going to give me 2x is greater than or equal to 7, and that means x is greater than or equal to 3.5. Again, another one where it's we've got a unknown on both sides, but it's just like before. So I'm going to take away e from both sides. I'm going to get 4e plus 3 is greater than 12. We don't have that greater than or equal to, it's just greater than. We're going to then take away 3 from both sides, and we're going to have 4e is greater than 9. That means, I keep on writing x, guys, even though it should be an e. That means e is greater than 9 over 4. Again, you can change that to a decimal, but in a fraction, it just keeps it nicer. Now that I've worked through this, hopefully you have an understanding of how to do these inequalities questions. For those of you who've done it already, well done. For those of you who haven't, I hope you watch this and you get a greater understanding.